हेलो। धीरज सर। नागार्जुन सर। हेलो। हेलो।
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
कैन यू हियर माय वॉइस? हेलो। हेलो।
అమ్మాయిని రోజు తీసుకొస్తా ఇక్కడ ఒక అమ్మాయిని మా బంధువు
Hello there, sir. Hello, Rajkumar, sir.
Very good evening, sir.
Okay, okay. Is it audible, my voice?
Yes, your voice is audible and clear.
Okay, so we'll wait a few more minutes.
Sure, we'll wait for 2 to 3 minutes and we can start the session, sir. So, meanwhile, Principal sir will join the session.
Sir already joined.
Very good evening, Principal sir.
Good
Nice to
evening,
see
sir.
you on the yeah. Nice to see you on the Zoom, sir.
Thank you. How are you?
All good, sir. All good, sir. All good, sir.
That's
I
nice.
think most of the faculty are joining from different states, sir. The
Yeah,
faculty
that,
development program that we are conducting, right from
that's the
Karnataka, Tamil
competition
Nadu,
between them.
Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and there are different colleges started joining. So we'll wait for 2 to 3 minutes, and you can start the session. Then the session can be handed over to another madam, and then to the faculty.
Sure, sir.
Good evening, Principal Sir. Good evening, Suresh Sir, Principal Sir.
Good evening, madam.
Good
How are
evening,
you,
sir.
madam? Long
I'm doing
time.
good. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Good, we're doing good. Rajkumar is saying that faculty is joining from Karnataka, Tamil Nadu,
It's
and
all our states.
probably Gujarat and various places. And he's saying it. That is why we have to wait 2 more minutes. They have to
Yeah, yeah.
travel fast to laptop. Or what is it, Rajkumar? If they're from different state, why should we give more time?
Just settling of time, madam. That's it, madam.
Okay, all right, fine. So, is Chakri sir joining too?
No, madam. Sir is engaged with other works.
Okay. So I think we can start, sir.
Yeah, madam. Hello, sir. Rajkumar, sir. Madam. Anuradha, madam.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Shall we proceed, madam?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think my principal sir is available.
Will you introduce principal, sir, and
Yes,
then?
yes, madam. Yes, madam. Good evening, everyone. I hope my audio is everyone to hello. Can you hear my voice? Hello.
Yes, sir. Your voice is audible.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm honored to welcome you all to the 6-day virtual FDP program on generative AI for teaching and learning strategies. Before we begin, I would like to introduce our esteemed institution, Narsopeta Engineering College, Autonomous, located in Narsopeta, Palnad district, Andhra Pradesh. Our college has been at the forefront of innovation and excellence in education. I would like to acknowledge the visionary leadership of our founder and chairman, Sri Mittapalli Venkata Koteswara Garu, whose unwavering commitment to education has shaped our institution into what it is today. I would like to also introduce our vice chairman and chief patron to the FDP, Sri Mittapalli Chakravarti Garu, whose guidance and support have been instrumental in our growth. So additionally, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our secretary, sir, Sri Metabal Ramesh Garu, whose tireless effort have contributed significantly to our institution success. It's now my pleasure to hand over the session to our principal, sir, Dr. S. Venkateswara Garu, a distinguished engineer and academic administrator who has provided visionary leadership to our institution. Sir, please take the stage and guide us through this exciting journey of exploring generative AI in education. Thank you. Let's get started. So hand over to principal, sir.
Thank you, Suresh Garu. Let me also thank the entire Blackbucks team under the leadership of Anuradha Madam for initiating such a one-week faculty development program on revolutionizing education with generative AI, teaching and learning strategies. Let me welcome each and individual who has already logged in and those who are waiting in the queue for logging in to this one-week FDP. This FDP is designed to empower educators with the latest advancements in AI-driven teaching methodologies. As AI is reshaping the educational landscape, I think this program is going to definitely equip all the teaching fraternity who are in the FDP with the knowledge and the tools to integrate generative AI into their classrooms effectively. The topics which are going to be covered in this FDP are the FDP is going to focus on introduction to generative AI in education, AI-powered content generation, using automated labs and AI for teaching effectively, AI for student engagement and interactive learning, assessment and feedback with AI, research and academic writing with AI, future of AI in teaching. I am confident that for sure, by the end of this 6-day program, all the professors who are there in this workshop are going to have a clear understanding of how to harness AI for improved teaching efficiency, personalized learning experience, and enhanced academic productivity. I wish the FDP a grand success, and I request the resource persons to go ahead with the FDP. Thank you all for the opportunity given to me.
Thank you so much, Principal Sir. And I'm very glad that we have tied up with Narsopeta Engineering College under your guidance and under the leadership of Chakri Sir and Tirmal Rao Sir and all the faculty of NEC College who have been really very cooperative for launching this massive faculty development program. As you see, we have seen around 1100 faculty have registered from across the country from various states. I'm sure this topic probably might be very intriguing for everyone. And just give me 2 minutes, dear faculty, to present about ourselves. And before that, some of you might be knowing Blackbucks already, and probably I might have already spoken to you on various occasions. But for others who do not know Blackbucks or me, I'll take 2 to 3 minutes. Will not take too much time into this wonderful program. So my name is Anuradha Tota, and I'm an engineer like most of you. And I have worked for Satyam, which is Tech Mahindra, and then Wipro and Microsoft. I worked for around 11 years, mostly in UK. That time, most of the activities were in UK, and we had a lot of chances to go around the world. Nowadays, the software employees do not have that much of opportunity, but we had a lot. I worked lot in UK and little bit in US. Then I came back and did my MBA from ISB. Post ISB, I started this firm called Blackbuck Engineers. We are now 12 years old, and as you know, when we move from being an employee to a businesswoman, it was quite a roller coaster for me. The mindset is totally different. Coming from a business family is different. Coming from employee background is different. So it was a roller coaster. So till the point of time, as you all know, though there was internet, most of the time education, training, and all was limited to the within the university or the college. But after COVID, the education training opened up, and we have something called Blackbucks Tap, which is a portal which has number of activities, but relevant to HODs, professors, assistant professors, and all the faculty here. There is a virtual programming lab. And when you are thinking about Narsropet is in one of the rural areas. Actually, Narsropet is a rural area. But what you can see as one major difference is many of very big universities and colleges haven't started with virtual programming labs yet. And being in rural areas too, Narsropet Engineering College has started off virtual programming labs, which means their labs are much more empowered using generative AI and various modern techniques for evaluating automatic grading. So the teachers have more time to spend on innovation, research, and really enabling students. The entire labs are automated. That means setting up of the lab and then student learning in the lab and the testing, grading, everything is automated in virtual labs. So this is one of the most modern kind of running the labs, and that was taken by Nasrafet Engineering College. I really appreciate the college leadership who has taken such step even when biggest colleges and universities have not started automating their labs. So with that background, I would like to tell one of Telugu people would be knowing. Varun Tej is one of our investor and also brand ambassador. And in the one of the key members of Blackbucks is Raj Bonagiri, who is an IIT alumni, and looking into various partnerships for us. We partner with. We have presence across various states. Say Andhra Pradesh, Telangana is our major presence, but Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and even Goa and Orissa, we are there. Probably some of you must be knowing DY Patil, we are there, and then Christ University, and then Manipal. So we are we are in few of the biggest universities in the country. We are working with them. And we set up centers of excellence. If any of the HODs and professors, assistant professors are looking for center of excellence for automation, we are most happy to collaborate with you. So we have tie-ups. We work with Andhra Pradesh government, Tamil Nadu government. If there are Tamil Nadu professors here, then we work with Nan Mudalwar. And we also work with Telangana for assessing all the students in the colleges. We assess, give them a grade, ranking, and so on at the state level. Okay. So we work with many universities, and last year we have assessed around 75,000 students. You all must be really surprised to know the topmost of 75,000 students, 50 students were eligible for top product companies like Google and Microsoft. So there is lot to be done, lot to be learning in the in colleges, in your own labs. There lot can be done. Need not stay till the end. Lot can be done within your labs. And we have around 45 plus career centers. 250,000 students are there on the portal currently. Around 160 colleges have utilized our services related to either employability or their lab automation. Okay, and we are very good at academic internships. I mean, like you can talk to any 20,000 students, all of them will be very happy with the academic internships. Okay. And training the faculty, as you know, many of you might have attended Blackbucks faculty development programs. Even a lot of faculty from Muscat, Dubai also attend. We never went out of India, but still a lot of faculty from other countries attend our faculty development programs. That's about us. And I will allow the faculty to take it over from here. Thank you so much for attending. I hope that you all learn all the. We have really, really not made it generic. Really, really tried to make it very useful for learning and teaching. So please kindly take advantage of this. Ask questions. Please do the exercises. All the faculty behave exactly like students in faculty development program. Ma'am, certificate, or attendance. This is what I see most of the time, but please learn. We have brought quite some very good faculty to conduct this, instructors to conduct this faculty development program. Happy learning to all of you. Thank you so much. And over to you, Mr. Prashant. Are you there?
Hi, Anuradha. Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So, dear faculty, please meet Mr. Prashant. He will be your instructor for today and also tomorrow. And we'll be concentrating mostly on designing instructional design course and also prompt engineering for today. So please enjoy the session, and there are also exercises. Please try to complete the exercises. Okay. Thank you so much. Over to you, Prashant.
Sure, yeah. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Hope all of you are doing great. Okay, so welcome back, I would say, to each and every one of you for the wonderful Gen AI in training and then learning. Okay, so I mean, you're going to learn great things with regards to generative AI. Like, again, I've been scheduled today and tomorrow. So we're going to leverage a lot of great things from this technology, I would say. So definitely everyone is going to get a big benefit out of this entire program, which we are going to take it up. So I know that there's a good amount of introduction being given about this course, like how it's going to be present. So again, as it was very rightly mentioned, right? Like, okay, so the point to be noted here is this is all like for learning only. Okay, please don't expect that you're just coming for certificate or for attendance, as it was very rightly mentioned. I also want to emphasize this because at the end of the day, it's for you, right? It's for you at the end of the day what we are trying to do. So I would request every one of you to take a note of each and everything, and always there's a chat box as a medium for asking any questions. I know the number of audience is huge, but still I'll make sure that I go ahead and try to answer all the relevant questions which you ask with regards to the topic. Okay. So without any further delays, let's go ahead and deep dive into the Gen AI. So I would say when I say Gen AI, right, it's a short form of the generative AI. So please do not get confused with the terminology. Indeed, it is a generative AI, but in the practical world, we basically call it as Gen AI. Okay, it's a short form of it. So just don't get confused if I just go with the word generative AI or Gen AI. It means the same. Okay, it's not anything different. So with this note, I'll quickly go ahead, share my screen, and from there we will start our journey for generative AI. I'll be giving you first the overview. I know some of you may be aware of it and some of you may not be aware. So I have to consider the diversification of all the faculty members over here. So with that note, I will be able to go ahead and first give you a very quick overview or very high level summary of what generative AI, what deep learning is, what machine learning is, what artificial intelligence is about. So first we'll try to understand the world of AI, right? Sometimes we miss the basics. We'll do great things, but when we want to go back and have a look, right? Like it's something like you'll feel, hey, I know everything, but I don't know where it's getting started or how it got evolved, right? So that is the reason why we should be always knowing at a very high level what this is, from where it actually arrived, the generative AI, why today you, me, we are all thinking about the generative AI. And then I'll take you to LLMs, the large language models, and finally to prompt engineering. Okay, and then we will do some activities and we'll continue today and as well as tomorrow with all these prompts, and then making you understand towards your sector particularly. Okay, learning and then how to train using the generative AI. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen quickly to all of you. Okay, perfect. So let's get started. Okay. I would be giving a very high level overview only, everyone. If there is anything specific you want to call it out, please mention it over the chat and leave it. And then I'm going to answer it accordingly for all of you. Okay. So see, when you talk about the generative AI, right? Whenever we want to refer to the generative AI, basically what this is about. Okay, I know many of you are already aware when people talk about generative AI, right? Many people say it's Chat GPT, right? It's a Gemini or it's a co-pilot. Many people will try to frame in their own way, and which is absolutely I agree with it. But what I want to make you understand is generative AI is not your Chat GPT or it's not your co-pilot or it's not your Gemini. Those are just an application or a part of it. Okay, what exactly is generative AI? Generative AI means if you very clearly or if you like go and observe it very closely, right? What it is trying to convey here, if you see a plain English, generative means what here? It means creating the new things, right? Generative here means if you observe very clearly over here, this is about creating the new things. Forget about AI and all. Just a plain and a simple English it is. Generative means you're creating new things. You're generating some new things, right? That's the intent behind it. Now, what are those new things? I want to know very specifically when you say that you're creating new things, what are those new things you are actually trying to create? So those new things are nothing but it is your text. Okay, you can create or generate text, you can generate image, you can generate audio, right? You can be able to generate video, or even you can also be able to generate the code. Okay, when I say things, it's not infinite. It's not infinite like where you can go and use everything generative AI. No. As of today, there is a limitation. And even that limitation is not a very big limitation, like 5% or 6%. Okay, but if you see majority, like more than 90% of the things you can be able to see being generated in the form of creating the new things, that is your text, image, audio, video, code, you can be able to do this with the help of, if you observe here, right, with the help of your AI, which we call here as the artificial intelligence. Okay, so if you observe over here in this case, right, what is happening? So with the help of AI, which is your artificial intelligence, what are you trying to do? You are able to go ahead, okay, and then you are generating these things. So let us say, imagine for a minute there is no AI. Just for a minute, you imagine there is no AI. Then if you generate text, image, audio, video, code, okay, there is no guarantee whatever it is generating is absolutely as per your requirement or not. You are not aware of it, right? That is something like which is not very clear, or which is not I would say very understandable. So we need AI, artificial intelligence. So today what is happening, we are using the artificial intelligence where it is helping the generative AI to give you all the new things, that is your image, text, audio, video, code. All of these are being coming in a very clear manner. Okay, this is all happening. It is all because of the generative AI only. Okay, so ultimately, if you see generative AI, right here, it means it is using your artificial intelligence for you to create a new content, or it may be like writing some stories or creating pictures, composing music, making videos, or at the same time generating the programming code. And all of these are done automatically. You are not doing anything here. You are just asking what you want. Then AI is working in such a way that it is able to go ahead and give you the relevant output. That's it. So this is the clarity you need to know over here. Generative AI means it's a world of generating the new content with the support of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is supporting your entire generative AI model, where it is able to go ahead and generate the relevant content for you, that it may be in the form of the text, image, audio, video, code, all of these things. So this is the very first understanding which everyone should be aware about. Why am I trying to emphasize this is most of the people in the market are having misconception thinking that generative AI means it's ChatGPT, Copilot or Gemini. No, generative AI here means the responsibility for you, or the capability which it is providing for you to generate a new content, that it may be in the form of a text, image, audio, video, code, whatever in that matter it may be. Okay, for that we are using artificial intelligence, because your artificial intelligence here will act as a machine, and it will be able to help the Gen AI model to go ahead and deliver this content in a better way for all of you. That's it. This is in short what is generative AI. There is no some rocket science been involved over here. Okay, there is no rocket science been involved here. This is what is generative AI. That's it. Now, how you will play with this? What are all the different things we need to do? That anyhow gradually we will be able to learn. But this is the key thing of the generative AI. But now, one interesting thing, if you would have observed in the slide, right? When I said AI here, definitely you would have been having a thought in your mind. This is all good, but what is AI actually? Can you explain to me what exactly is artificial intelligence? Definitely that question may have been popped up in your mind. I know that some of you are already aware what is AI, but I would make it in a very simple way so that you all can understand that how AI is important. See, first of all, you need to understand AI is important. That is the reason you see that in the generative AI is helping you out to create this content. As I said you, right, imagine for a minute there is no AI, then you will not be able to get all this content which is being getting generated either using your chat GPT, Copilot or Gemini or a Claude, whatever the models which are present outside the market. You will not be able to do if imagine for a minute if AI is not there. So AI is very, very important. That is the reason you all should know what is AI. Without knowing that, you'll say that I'm going to go and generate all these things. Yes, you will be able to generate, but you don't know what is the source, what is the path, what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to get from the chat GPT. You'll never understand the architecture behind it. Okay, so now I'm going to make it very clear to all of you. So you know that already many of you would have been utilized this. Like you can use your chat GPT for generating the text. Okay, where you can generate the text like email, essays, summaries, and all these things. Anyhow, we will be doing it practically. So I don't want to emphasize a lot of time on the theoretical part over here, because anyhow, we are going to cover this practically today and tomorrow. And then how to generate the images. So you can always generate the images. For that, you have a DALI, right? DALI is again, I would say it's a plugin which is available within your chat GPT, which will take care of creating the images. So we will also try to understand that how to create an image. Okay, so as of today, I would say chat GPT or any models which are available in the market, right? Only drawback, why I'm trying to emphasize this is because you are coming from the learning background or a teaching background you have been coming from, right? So you may ask me, for my research work or for any other activities, can I be able to go ahead and create the architectures? No, as of today, architectures are not being so great, but you can create a lot of imaginary images which you run in your mind, right? You can be able to do that, but I will show you alternative, like where you can use an alternative tools for creating the architecture. But otherwise, these models as of today doesn't have the capability to create the architecture in a way how you want it. Okay, but still it has the capability to generate the images which you think in your mind. It's like a imaginary. Whatever you imagine, you can do it. But only the limitation currently is architecture pictures, like where you have the flow chart, where you have the dots being connected, right? So that is not yet very precise. It is there, but it's not very precise in a way how it has to be. So now you know generative AI is rapidly increasing, right? With their models, with their versions. So definitely sooner or later, within the end of this 6 months in this year or within the end of this year, you will see that some great things are going to come for sure. Okay. And then if you want to generate the code, for that you have a GitHub Copilot, which will assist you in writing the programming code. Like you can create any code using JavaScript, Python, C, C Sharp, Java. Okay, so we will all be able to do this. Again, this is all the capabilities, which anyhow I'll show you practically because that's going to give you much, much better understanding. Okay. So ultimately, if you observe over here, the chat GPT is helping you to generate the text, the DALI is helping you to create the images, and then the GitHub Copilot is helping you out to write all the code, whatever is needed. Okay. So now, if you observe here very clearly, right? Okay. This would have made you understand now. If I just show you this, right? Gen AI means generative artificial intelligence, right? It is a type of artificial intelligence. So in the world of artificial intelligence, generative AI is one type where it is responsible for you to create a new content, as I have shown you already, right? Or I have already explained at the start. It's there for you to create a new content like audio, image, text, code, videos. Like this, you can be able to go ahead and do a great things. Audio means you can create musics or video. Images means you can create some drawings or photos. Text means you can create some articles, essays, summary, mail, and all. Code, as you know, you can create some programming code or programming scripts. Okay. Then videos, you have your animations, edited clips, all these things you can be able to do with the help of the Gen AI. Okay, so that's the capability of the generative AI, which will make you enable or give this all the new content which we discussed currently. Okay, so now you understood what is Gen AI. But now I want to highlight here only one thing which we missed out, or one thing which we have not covered in very detailed ways. Your generative AI is having the capability of artificial intelligence. So let's understand what is AI, because it is a very powering tool which is helping your generative AI to create you whatever is needed, like audio, image, text, code, and video. So it is our due responsibility to understand what exactly is artificial intelligence then, when it is powering your generative AI models. So now when I take you to the artificial intelligence, right, in a very, very simple or in a layman words, I will put it in front of you. So you know that humans, like you, me, we are all humans, right? So we have intelligence, we have creativity, we can think, we can solve problems, we can create some great things like, see, you know that already we entered into space, right? We in the sense, again, as a human beings only, like you know, ISRO, NASA, they're all working out, like, and then we have entered into the space exploration. Okay, we have done a great amount of the art. Okay, and then we have the sports also. Like we do great things as a human beings. I'm not limiting only to these things. Okay, we are great in whatever we do. Right now, if you observe as a humans, we're already intelligent. We already have creativity. We can always go and think and solve problems and can do some great things. Right now, if you can bring artificial intelligence into the picture, right? What artificial intelligence is saying, artificial intelligence wants to mimic the human intelligence. That means it wants to like have a copy, like how we have a human like intelligence. Artificial intelligence is saying that how can't I be able to go and have the same intelligence to the machine? Scientists have thought that, okay, the human like intelligence, whatever is present, let me go and try to add the same into a machines, right? So that machines can also be intelligent like the human beings. That's the intent behind it. So artificial intelligence was designed to transfer or mimic the human like intelligence so that they can perform. The machine can be able to go ahead and perform the tasks, like machines can be able to think, machines can be able to go ahead, learn, machines can be able to go ahead and do the problem solving for us, right? So that's the intent behind it. So here, what we are trying to emphasize, or what we're trying to do here is transfer the human-like intelligence to machines, so that machines also will be able to do the capability of what human beings can do. Like machines can be able to think, learn, and then do some problem solving. Like how humans can think and innovate, right? Let's make the AI machines also think in the same way like how humans try to perform the tasks. That was the initial thought process. That's how the artificial intelligence came into reality. And you see over here. Okay, if you observe here, what is happening? As you know that as a human intelligence, here people can think, learn, solve, they can do, have some creativity, and then human beings use their brain to understand and then make the decisions. Right? You know, so many inventions have been done by the human beings, like inventing a light bulb, inventing zero, a lot of great things we have done, okay, as a human beings. Now, what is being done here, as I said you, right? AI, which is being created by humans only. This, the name itself says, right, this intelligence is not inbuilt. You're artificially ingesting it. That means you are trying to add it on top of it in an artificial manner. Okay. So that's the point we need to understand overall here. So we are just trying to transfer the human-like intelligence to machines. So what will machine do? Machine is going to require intelligence, like how you are getting intelligence, you're learning, you're experimenting, you're trying to learn from your experience. That's how you are learning, right? By observing a lot of things, by learning on your own. So how will machine become intelligent? You just cannot say to machine that, hey, become intelligent, it's gonna be. No, it's never gonna be possible like that, right? So you have to give some prerequisite to your machine. So definitely what you need here is you have to go ahead and give the data. Okay, you need to go and give the data to your machine so that your machine will be able to go ahead and try to learn from the data, and then it will follow the instructions to solve the problems. So data is the prerequisite. Imagine if there is no data, forget about AI, forget about GenAI. All the things are gone. Okay, so if you are today, you, me, we are all utilizing everything very successful in the AI world, it is only because of the data only. Imagine there is no data for a minute, everything is stopped. You cannot move ahead. So data is such an important source. So you need to feed the data to your AI model or to your artificial intelligence machine. The capability of the artificial intelligence is you just give the data. You don't need to go and educate your artificial intelligence. It will just go, take the data, and ultimately it will be able to go ahead and will try to solve the problems for you. That's it. Nothing else is needed. You should be able to go ahead and give the data, and it is automatically going to learn whatever the data you have provided, and it will be able to solve the problem. So whatever problem you provide, it has the capability to go ahead and solve that problem appropriately. It's like a robot, it's like a computer program, right? Where you give the input, it will go ahead, think, and will try to give you the output like a human being. That's your artificial intelligence. Okay, AI is inspired by your human intelligence only, like you, me. AI is inspired by human intelligence. And then it is designed in such a way so that it can make the human life easier, so that it can do all the tasks automatically by not putting the burden on all the human beings. That's the main intent behind it. And now you see the definition, right? This itself can give you a better clarity right now. So artificial intelligence is a part of your computer science. It's not a different world altogether. Okay. AI is a part of your computer science world. It has not come from anywhere else. It's purely a concept of computer science. So you may use AI in different purposes, but AI itself as a concept has come from the computer science. Okay. Where its main focus is what? Artificial intelligence main focus is to make sure, okay, that it ensures your machines work in a very smart manner. The only goal of AI is to make sure that it's focusing on making your machine smart. So for that, you really need to create the intelligent systems. Okay, you have to create intelligent systems so that it can be able to perform the tasks. Okay, it can perform the tasks like the human intelligence. Human intelligence means what? First, it should understand language, right? It should be in a position to understand the language, whatever you are trying to communicate with. After understanding the language, it should also be able to have the capability to go ahead and play a responsibility to solve the problems. After solving the problems, it should also be able to recognize. Okay. So it should also be able to go ahead and recognize the images. So if you give any image to analyze, it should also be in a capability to recognize the images. And if you want to make any decisions, so even for making the decisions also, your AI plays an important role. All these things are done by human beings, right? Ideally, we do this. But now when you say that we're transferring human-like intelligence to machines, what does that mean? It shouldn't just be like, okay, we are transferring human-like intelligence. What? What is that human-like intelligence it should be? This is what we need to highlight. So your AI can understand the language, Your AI can solve the problems. Your AI can recognize the images, whatever you're going to provide. And then your AI is going to make the decisions also. So it is making your life easier so that you can get the output from your AI and then you take whatever the call you want it. Either you want to proceed with it or either you want to like decline that. That's up to you at the end of the day, how you want to play around with it. So this is the capability which we all need to understand. Okay, that is your artificial intelligence, which every one of you should be aware about. When you talk about the AI, this is the capability of what the artificial intelligence is, where you're trying to transfer your into a machine, a human-like intelligence. And that human-like intelligence is what I have highlighted it over here. That's your AI world. So now once AI became popular, once AI came into reality, right, then multiple data scientists have thought that, okay, AI is right now slowly getting set up, it's getting evolved, things are going in a right direction. Then gradually when the AI was settling, then many data scientists have thought, why don't we come up with some other things within the AI? Okay, so then they came with something called as a machine learning, which is a part of your AI only. Machine learning is basically the part of your AI itself. Okay, so now how machine learning is going to play an important role? If you see, right, see, machine learning is also part of your AI. That's what, as I said, it's a subset of your AI. Okay, which makes or which helps your computers learn from the data without being directly programmed. Like, for an example, let's say there is a machine. Okay, this is your machine. Now you ingest or you feed the data to the machine. Okay, you go ahead, feed the data to the machine. Now, the moment you add the data to your machine, right, you know what machine will say? So definitely it will go say that, hey, okay, you gave me the information, but what is that? I don't understand what data you gave. It's a structured or unstructured data. What are you trying to provide me? I'm not clear about the data, whatever you are providing me. That's not gonna make any sense to me at the end of the day. But now, when you are using machine learning, okay, when you're using machine learning, right, the benefit of the machine learning is you go and give any data. Doesn't matter what data you are giving. Even you yourself doesn't know what data you are giving. Okay, or maybe you are aware of the data, but always remember one thing. Machine learning is such a smart and intelligent system, which is a part of the AI, where whatever data you give, it will learn from that data. Okay, it's gonna go and then learn from the data, and then you don't even need to make your machine understand that how you have to learn, what you need to do. You don't need to say any such things. Simply give the data to your machine learning model. Your machine learning model will take the data from you, will try to understand, it will try to learn everything on its own. How it is happening? Definitely you'll ask me that, because see, at the end of the day, everybody should think little bit different, right? See, it's not like machine is so intelligent that you give the data and it will handle everything. Behind that, there is something which is happening. That is what we all should be aware about, right? So in the machine learning, you will be able to write the algorithms. Now, you in the sense who the experts who are in the machine learning, the experts who are in the machine learning, right? So they will be able to go ahead and develop the algorithms. Now, those algorithms have the capability to go ahead, take the data, whatever the end user is providing, it will learn from the data, and then it is going to give you the output based on whatever you ask. It's as simple as that. Imagine I am the machine learning model. Okay, now you give me some data or you ask me a question. Now, what I'm trying to do, I'm going to go and give you the answer. Okay, if I know about it. But in the case of machine, that's not the scenario. A machine is being trained with lots of tons of data, I would say. Now, you give any data to it, it will understand from the data whatever you have provided. It will learn all the patterns and models. Why it is able to learn, even though you are not making the machine learning understand, still it is able to do. Why? Because the algorithms have been designed in such a way. Okay, so using algorithms, what it is going to do, it will be able to go ahead and do predictions, and it's also gonna take the decisions into consideration. Okay, so all the predictions and decisions are being gonna taken care over here. Okay, so machine learning is very important. Like, let me say the best example, you would have used Netflix or YouTube, right? You know, it's always going to recommend you some movies or shows based on what you like it. How it is happening? It is because of the machine learning model only. Okay, and then self-driving cars, they will learn how to drive by analyzing the road data. So it knows that how it has to perform. Okay, so machine learning here actually plays a very, very important role, which you should all be able to understand it. Okay, so what you need to get to know over here is in this scenario, okay, the very important point which we should be knowing is the machine as a model has the capability to take the data, and with whatever algorithm it is designed, it will learn on its own, and finally it is going to give you the predictions and decisions so that you can be able to take the call appropriately. So today, when you talk about machine learning, it is helping all your computers to learn from its data and improve their performance. I mean, without being like manually, anybody is going and trying to explain to machine. That's not happening. You can just be able to go ahead and capably, I mean, you can have the capability to go ahead and handle the things proactively. Okay, that's your machine learning. I mean, we don't need to dig deep how to write algorithms, what we need to do. That is again expertise in machine learning, which is a broader area, right? We are just trying to understand what is machine learning at a very high level. So this is the understanding which you should be aware about. Like for an example, in your college, you want to set up a canteen. Let's say you want to set up a canteen in your college. Okay, now you are not aware, like you are like calculating that if I set up a business in your college or in your university, right, you may think that in your mind, will this run, right? Definitely. What you will do, two things. One, you will take a survey asking everybody that will it work. So some, they will give their opinions. Now what you can do, you can take a business case, add your data to the machine learning model. Okay, so just give the data like how many students are there. Okay, just I'm giving you some parameters. How many students are there? What is their age group? When you're setting a canteen, like age group should be really dynamic so that they can eat and can digest, right? And then what is the pocket money, which is being provided for you to fix the rates? Okay, and then how many placements are coming so that people will be happy, right, to spend a lot of money in parties and all. Okay, and then what is the birthday cycle? Okay, what is their birthday cycle? Whether at that time college holidays are there or whether it is a part of this. So all these things you will be taking into consideration. Get the data, provide it to the machine learning model. The machine learning model will take your data, will predict, do all the predictions and patterns it will try to create, and will take the decision on behalf of you, either to set up the business or either to reject the business. Now, at the end of the day, it's your call. Machine is just giving you the output. Now, still, if you want to go ahead and do whatever you want, that is ultimately the human being call. Okay, you can go and do whatever you want. But if the machine can always have the capability to give you the decisions based on whatever data you provided, just as I've given you the example to set up the canteen in your college. Okay, just like this is how the businesses work in real time. Okay, so you see that over here. Okay, if you see very clearly in this scenario, just this is an example. Okay, so let's say there is a baby whom you are trying to make the baby understand how apple would look like. Okay, so the baby sees the apple first and learns what an apple looks like. Okay, the baby remembers the shape, the color, and the features of this fruit. Now, what will happen? So, like, let me say, if you observe over here, you can just explain how the fruits would look like, what would be its, like, let me say, how the feature is going to look like. Okay, what is the color, what's the shape, all these parameters you can make your baby understand. Same way, even to your machines also, when you're feeding the data, you can just give the data so that your machines will automatically understand on its own how the data is going to look like, what are its different forms, what are its different shapes, how you can handle it, everything it will be able to do on its own. Here you are giving some manual training to the baby, but still baby is able to go ahead and handle it. But in the case of machines, right, that's not the scenario. The machines can easily be able to handle all the data with whatever it has been trained with. Okay, and then you see that here, right? So there's a baby, and now you give a set of fruits. You give a set of fruits, your baby can go ahead and classify how an apple would look like, because already your baby has been trained that how an apple would actually look like. But here, when you give a set of fruits, right, easily your baby can be able to go ahead and detect that how an apple would look like, because he or she has been already trained with. That's how your machine also works. Okay, that's how ultimately your machine is also going to work. So based on whatever, okay, based on whatever the data the machine has been trained with, okay, and then whatever data you provided, so it will try to correlate the data, whatever data with which it has been trained, whatever data you are providing it, it will try to understand everything on its own. From here, it will try to draw all the patterns. Okay, it will try to do all your predictions. And then finally, it's going to come to a decision. Now, whether you want to stick to this decision or you want to reject is ultimately your call. So this is the process which we should all be able to consider overall, if I would say. Okay. So here, if you see, right, this is what it is. Okay. So you see here, this is your machine. Okay. Imagine that this is your machine learning model, where to your machine learning model, you will give a lot of data. Here is your data. Okay. So this is all your data. You have given different types of apples to your machine learning model in the form of a data. So what your machine learning model will do, you don't need to say to your machine learning model that this is apple. You give tons of images of apple, your machine learning model will understand that this is an apple. It will try to learn on its own how the features will look like, what is the size, okay, what is its shape, what is its color, everything it is going to learn on its own. Then immediately you give a data asking the machine learning model, please classify me the apple based on the two images you see on the right hand side. Then immediately your machine learning model will be able to go and recognize how an apple would look like, because it has already been trained with the tons of data. So it knows how an apple would look like, what is its color, what is its shape. Immediately it will detect what is apple, and it will reject banana because it's not apple, right? So it will immediately reject because it doesn't match your Apple's features which are being present. So ultimately, what you need to understand here is your machine learning has a capability to learn from many examples of the data. It will remember all the patterns. Okay, it's going to remember all the patterns, and then it will be able to identify whatever the object you provide it. It will detect and it will classify the image in a very appropriate manner. And how this pattern recognition, identification, classification, all of these things are happening in a great way because algorithms are available within the machine learning models. And this has been designed by the data scientists, which is a different topic altogether. Okay, so this is the clarity we need to understand it. So in summary, machine learning is nothing but you provide a lot of training data. You provide a lot of training data to your machine, and then based on the training data, it will try to understand the patterns, and then it is going to give you the relevant output based on whatever you ask. And then it also needs a computation power. Why you need a computation power? So before I know why I need a computation power, what is it? Computation power means it's a speed. The AI will really need some powerful computers to process the large amount of data. When you're handling the large amount of data, right? So the processing also should be really great. Otherwise, what is the purpose? You ask a question and your AI, your machine learning model will say, I'll give you the reply in 1 hour. Will you be happy? Obviously, no. So definitely you need a good speed. When you ask something within seconds, the answer should be provided to you. Otherwise, you will be the most unhappiest person, right? When you ask anything, within seconds, the output should come. That is when your AI is really doing great things. So for that, you need a computational power. You need a great amount of speed. So you need some chips, right? We need a chips like GPU. Okay, graphics processing units, some chips like this is needed. Then only you can handle the things in a great way. That is the reason you would have seen. I don't know how many of you are aware about, but you have NVIDIA, right? You have really some great chips they prepare. Right? Recently in China, you see the DeepSeek came in where they prepare their own chips. The one who is going to control the chips can have the great amount of speed, and they are going to rule the AI market. Okay, so that is the reason speed is very important. For that, you need a great computation power, and the gadget which is needed is graphics processing unit. And then algorithms. Without algorithms, there is nothing. It's like a heart, or it's like a soul, I would say, in your machine learning model. Today, when you give any data, it's able to learn on its own. It's able to do prediction. It's able to find out the patterns, how it is all happening. It is all happening because of the algorithms only. If your algorithms are great, then it can do great job. If your algorithms are pathetic, then it will also give you the pathetic output. It's all dependent on how well you're designing the algorithm. That is the reason when you look for the AI expert, you always need a great expert who can actually create these algorithms and can make the things go in a right direction. Okay, so algorithms are like soul. Because of this only, all your prediction pattern decisions are all happening in a better manner. This is what we need to know as a machine learning. Okay, now within the AI world, you know what is AI, you know what is generative AI, you know what is machine learning, and the final one is the deep learning. Okay, and the final one here is the deep learning, which is also part of the AI world only. Whatever I'm explaining to you, right, these are all part of the AI world, and you'll understand that why we are trying to learn this. Because without knowing these things, right, you cannot correlate that how generative AI has come up right now. Only thing what you know today is generative AI is a subset of AI, but where it is going to fall, how it is going to play an important role, that is still not clear with any one of us. So now we are connecting all the dots. We are going one by one saying that, okay, we know what is generative AI, we know what is artificial intelligence, we know what is machine learning. That's what we completed till now. And now we are entering into something called as the deep learning. So in the deep learning, again, once we are done with this, then we will connect all the dots, whatever we have learned. That will give you a better clarity that how generative AI plays an important role. After which, if there are any questions, then I will try to answer and we will move on to LLMs, the large language models. Okay. So right now, when I talk about the deep learning, right, very interesting topic this is, and I would go ahead and put it in a very simple way, if I would say. See, when you talk about the deep learning, right, deep learning is totally inspired by the human brain. Okay, in a very simplistic way, your deep learning is totally inspired by the human brain. Now, I know this statement may be a little confusing for all of you. Like, deep learning is inspired by the human brain. It indicates what? I mean, what do you want to convey over here? See, for an example, as a human beings, our human brains are a very, very important thing in our entire body, I would say, right? Because all the information which you are processing, all the output what you want to generate, everything is going to come from the human brain only, right? If this itself is not active, then you cannot be able to go ahead and do whatever you want, right? So brain is very important. So in the same way how human brain is important for a human being, even for the machines also, we need to think that if we can bring a human brain like structure, then machines also will do great things. So in the previous scenario, you remember when I explained artificial intelligence, right? There I gave a clarity. We are transferring the human like intelligence into machines, right? How? That I'm going to explain to you in the form of deep learning. So if you see here this picture very clearly, right? In the deep learning, how it's going to work, I'll just put it very clear so that you all can have a thorough or the better understanding over here. Okay. So if you see here very clearly, okay, this is like, if you observe here, your human brain. Okay, so human brain means what? It's ideally our brain, right? Like, where in our brain we have billions of neurons. Okay, this is whatever I highlighted, right? These are like billions of neurons which are being connected and as well as communicated with each other. If you see, right, these are like so many neurons which are being present over here. Okay, so now if you observe over here what is happening, if you see very clearly, this is all, okay, this is all, if you observe, these are like neurons which are present in your brain. So let me say, when you smell something or when you sense something, right, what do immediately? Your brain will process that information and will give you the message. Okay, this is a smell of so and so thing. Or maybe if someone hits you or if someone pinches you, you get to feel that. How this is all happening? Because what is happening is, in your brain you have neurons, okay, which will be like a mesh-like structure where it will pass the signal from one neuron to another neuron. It will keep passing the entire information in your brain. Okay, so these are all interconnected and communicated with each other. This is because of the neurons only we will be able to think, we will be able to learn, and then we will be able to make the decisions. In our human brains, neurons play a very important role for all our thinking, for all our learning, and then for making the decisions. Today, if all of these are successful or capable, it is all because of the neurons which are being present in the human brain. Okay, now what are we trying to do here? We are trying to transfer. Now, you know that in the human brain, you have neurons, which is capable for us to make us think, learn, and make decisions. Then why can't I be able to replicate the same in the machines also? That's the thought process which has come in the deep learning. So when the deep learning got evolved, what happened is we want to transfer the human brain into machines. It's as simple as that. Okay, so here if you see the neural network, this is what we call neural network. The name remains the same, but here we call it as the neural network in the process. So what is happening over here? If you see very clearly, first of all, here the scientists, the data scientists have copied the human brain-like structure and then they have transferred it to the machines. Now today machines are having the neural network. So in the neural network, the first one is your input layer. Input layer means it takes the information from you, like it may be image, text, or any numbers. Like here, if you see, right, this is your input layer. Anybody who asks any question, for an example, in your chat GPT, you ask a question, that is your input layer. Okay, so that is ultimately your input layer. And then you see the great thing in between them, right? The hidden layers. You see that here, these are all hidden layers. Hidden layers, what it is going to do is it will process all the information, whatever you have asked, right? It will process that information. And then finally, you have another output layer over here where it will give you the final result based on whatever you have asked. Like I'll say you in a very simplistic way if I say, so you see, right, the blue ones, okay, which are in the circular shape, right? These are all called as the nodes. Okay. So first of all, you see that there are lines being interconnected to each other. First thing you have to understand how your neurons are interconnected to each other in your brain. So we want to replicate the same in the machine also, right? So you see that input layer, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, output layer, all of them are interconnected to each other. That's the first thing which we all should be aware about. Okay, if you observe here very clearly, they are all interconnected to each other so that you can be able to utilize it appropriately. That's the first and foremost thing which we all should be able to consider. If you see here very clearly, they're all interconnected to each other, and that is needed. If they're not interconnected, and if they are working in an isolated manner where they are not connected, then you will definitely never get the output. Imagine for a minute, your brain is not connected, like your neurons are not connected, then you may not work effectively as a human being. So same happens here also. You have to make all of them interconnected to each other so that what will happen, I'll give you a like best example. Let's say you have your chat GPT. Okay. Now you ask a question. Okay. For an example, you can ask a question like, what is capital? Okay. What's the capital of India? Okay. Let's say you ask this question. I'm not saying that you're not aware of it, but yeah, just for an experiment, let's say we ask this question. So what do? You go to ChatGPT. Okay. In the input layer, you ask the question that what is capital of India? Now your input layer will take that question. Okay, what it is going to do, it has layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. It will process the information in all the layers. First, layer 1, in the layer 1, it will check. Okay, I got the result as, let's say, New Delhi. Okay, then it will pass to layer 2. Now, layer 2 will process that information further refined and it will check whether if it is the right answer or not. Then you have layer 3. Layer 3 will go ahead and it will still further enhance it. Okay, and then finally you will get the output layer providing you the answer as New Delhi or whatever may be the answer, you will be able to get as in the form of output layer. So layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 are like validation. Okay, imagine you have prepared a document. Now you want to submit it, but before you submit it, you give it for validation to some other professors who will have a look into it. And once they validate, your data will become much stronger, right? Because you're giving the chance for others to think in their own perspective and then give the opinions so that you will get the final refined one and then you can submit it so that you will also be very much confident rather than you submitting it directly. So same is happening here. When you ask any question, with whatever the data with which the chat GPT is already being trained with, it will look into the data first in the layer 1, then it will pass to layer 2, then to layer 3. Once the answer is refined in a very clear way, then you are going to get the output as an answer. It's not like just you ask a question and it will randomly give the answer. No, there is a lot of refinement happening behind the hood. You see, this is a neural network. Why it's called a neural network? Because we are trying to copy, or we are trying to exactly get the replica of the human brain like structure into the machines. And in the machines also we are bringing layers. Okay, now think in those lines. If you have more layers, in this case layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, if you have 5 layers, will the answer or the output layer be strong or weak? Obviously the output layer is going to be very strong, because more the number of layers, more refining of the data you are going to do, and ultimately that's going to give you the best answer at the end of the day. Okay, so that's the clarity which you all should be aware about. So whenever you talk about the neural networks, right, more the layers, more accurate output it is. Less the number of layers, even though it will give you accurate answer, but still refinement of the data will be little bit limited. That is the understanding which every one of you should be aware about. But you will ask me now why this is called as a hidden layer then. We can say layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, right? But why I should be calling this as a hidden layer? The reason is, say me one thing, when you ask any question in chat GPT, do you know that some refinement is happening like this? No, right? Because everything happens at the back end. Only thing what you will see is the input layer, which you ask the question, and the output layer where you see the answer. Apart from that, whatever is happening behind the a ChatGPT or a Copilot or a Gemini, you will never know, because all of them use the same model, that is a neural network model only. So that is the reason these are hidden layers, as this is not visible to the third person. Only it is being done by the organization, like ChatGPT uses OpenAI, right? So it's OpenAI is the organization which goes ahead and tries to do all these things for you. And you don't need to go ahead and work like how this is happening. It's only for your information, how things are happening behind the hood. So this is a very, very important point, everyone. Okay. Whatever the data you provide it as an input will go to multiple layers. Okay. And these layers are going to process your information. Once your information is processed appropriately, then you're going to get the refined out. This is how the neural network is going to work. Same as like human brain. When you see any information, what will you do? You'll try to process. Best example I'm explaining to you right now. What are you doing? Either you take a note, or either you listen to me and you try to process that information where? Obviously in your brain. In your brain, you have neurons, which are helping you out to understand the concept, whatever I'm explaining to you. That's how you are learning. Same here also. All these layers are already being fed with a large amount of data. Now, only thing is when anybody is coming and asking question to you, okay, so that in question will be taken as input layer, will pass on to multiple layers. Every layer will try to connect to each other. They will refine the data such that ultimately once the output is provided, it is always going to give you the accurate answer by not giving a scope to any wrong answers. Again, I'm not saying that it is 100% accurate. It's never 100% accurate. Okay, it is still 90 to 95% only. Even still, there is a scope for like mistakes, but still, it is doing a great job. It's trying to learn, it's trying to be better version by version. They are trying to improve and handle the things more proactively. This is your neural network, which every one of you should be aware about. So, now if you see here, right, deep learning is again a part of your machine learning. Okay, your deep learning is again a part of your machine learning. And what it is trying to do, your deep learning is ultimately able to learn from the large amount of data. Okay, as I said you, right, everybody is dependent on the data only. Even your deep learning is also dependent on data. Once you pass this data to your neural network, right, that neural network will be able to go ahead and learn from this large amount of data on its own, so that anybody who asks any question in the input layer, it will go process the information in multiple hidden layers, and then more the layers, it will process the more information in a more better manner and will give you the output. Imagine you gave the document for 10 people to validate. The response will be really great, because you're giving multiple people multiple outputs you're trying to get. If you're giving only to one or two persons, you'll still get the better output. But you know, right, when you give it to more people, more responses. If you give it to limited people, then you'll get only limited scope of what others are thinking about, whatever you have prepared it. So that's the point over here. And again, one more thing, with the more layers, more cost also will be involved. So you need to be very careful. Okay. So that's the point. So the key point here is the neural network. Okay, where it is inspired by how the human brain works, like where we have the neurons, right? In the same way, neural network is also going to work, as I've shown you the architecture over here. Okay, so this is the clarity when you have multiple many layers. Okay, that is the reason why it's called as the deep. Okay, you would have heard, right? Like deep learning, I said you. Why it is called as a deep? Deep means what? Going into it. Okay, deep means what? Going into it is what we call deep. Okay, so that is the reason we call this, as you have multiple layers where it is going deep, understanding the question, refining it, and giving the output layer. That is the reason the name has been termed as a deep learning, where it is using the neural network and like mimicking or transferring the human brain-like structure and giving you the better output. So this is the point which you need to understand. And ultimately, if you observe over here, what is that we learned? When you talk about the artificial intelligence, this is the entire broader circle. Your AI is the very broader concept where it is making your machines smart at the end of the day. Today, your machines are smart. It is all because of your AI only, artificial intelligence, where it is transferring the human-like intelligence and helping you out to take the decisions, problem solving, language understanding, all of these things. Examples are, again, you know, Siri, Alexa, Chat GPT, all these are the part of your AI only. So it's a part of the AI world. Within the AI, you see that a very small subset of the AI is your machine learning, right? So where your machine learning is helpful for what? Your machine learning is always helpful for your patterns. Okay, understanding the apart from the patterns, right? It will be able to go ahead and classify all your data, whatever you want. So for classification, it will be helpful. Okay, and then on top of that, it will also be giving you the decisions, whatever is needed. Okay, that's how your machine learning model is going to work with all the algorithms being present inside it. Then your deep learning. Your deep learning is also part of your machine learning only. Okay, so your deep learning is a subset of your machine learning where it uses the neural network. Okay, so your deep learning ultimately it goes ahead and uses the neural network just we discussed. So this neural network is very much needed because it is solving the most complex problem that how a human brain would think like, right? Deep learning is doing that with the help of the neural network. Okay, so and then you see the generative AI. This is where your generative AI is going to fit. Okay, if you observe over here, right, this is where your generative AI is fitting. Generative AI is a subset of your deep learning. Okay, so with the help of the deep learning only, your generative AI is creating all your new content like text, image, music, video. Okay, it's able to go ahead and do all of these things. It's because of your deep learning only. And your deep learning is directly connected with your machine learning. Your machine learning is connected with your artificial intelligence. So all of them are one single world only. So you understood my point, right? Just knowing generative AI will only help you one small part of it. But you should be knowing that your generative AI is actually coming from your deep learning. Your deep learning is basically coming from your machine learning. Your machine learning is coming from your AI. That is the reason this is the entire world of your artificial intelligence. With the help of the generative AI, today you are trying to generate all the new content like text, image, audio, video, code, whatever we discussed at the start of the session. It is all been happening successfully because your generative AI is a part of your deep learning. That is the reason it is doing great things, if I would say over here. Okay, so this is the clarity which every one of you should basically be aware about. So if you see, right, generative AI it's a subset of deep learning. So that means generative AI is using the neural network because deep learning uses neural network and your generative AI is nothing but it's a part of your deep learning only. So it also uses the neural network at the end of the day. So that is a clarity which every one of you should be aware. So what I want to make you understand here is, okay, just if you see this picture here. Okay, so what is happening by just seeing this picture, you can totally understand what ChatGPT, what Copilot, what Gemini is doing at the back end. Because without knowing this, right, there is no point in you learning generative AI 100% also. If you don't know how the architecture works, then what is the point in doing all these things, right? So see here, what is happening is, let us imagine let us imagine that you have your chat gpt. Let's imagine that you have your copilot. Let's imagine that you have your gemini. You take any other llms, claude and all of those things, all these models. Okay, you know how this is great because they have been trained with a lot of data. The companies which has developed them like chat gpt, openai, copilot, microsoft, gemini is coming from google. All these companies, you know what did they do? They trained these models with a lots of training data. Like from internet they have picked a huge tons of data and they dumped it on top of the models. And what are these models? These models are nothing but your neural network. Behind the hood they have the neural network, and that neural network name is what we call transformers. Okay, the name is called as transformer. Instead of calling neural network, they call it transformer. Now, why they named it as a transformer? Because in the deep learning, you already call it as a neural network. Now, in the generative AI also, if you call it as a neural network, there would be a lot of confusion. So, due to which they changed the name as transformers over here. So every tool or every AI model which is being there in the market, right? All of them, they utilize the neural network because without them they are not survived, because they all work on the deep learning only, right? And if the deep learning, if you see, right, is a core concept, right, which is a core concept of the like let me say neural network. So obviously when GenAI is a part of the deep learning, so GenAI also has the neural network. So how every model is going to work, this is your input layer. Okay, you have your input layer here. You ask whatever the question you want in the input layer. Then this input layer will take the question from you. And here you have the layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. It will process the information. Whatever question you ask, it will process that information and finally will give you the output. Every model is going to work like this. Every model is going to work like this. This is the architecture of all your AI models which are present. Either it is your ChatGPT or a Copilot or a Gemini, all of these are very popular. Only reason being because they are using the neural network at the back end. And they are all part of the deep learning concept. Deep learning only has brought out this neural network. For that, they just changed the terminology, saying that it is a transformers. Transformers are nothing but it will take your data as an input layer. It will take it through multiple layers, whatever you have within your AI models. It may be ChatGPT, Copilot, or Gemini. It will process all of that information and will give you the output. Now, input can be generate me a document, summarize the document. Okay, we will anyhow learn practically, right? So you'll get to know much more about it. Or maybe you go and ask a summary, or you ask to generate an image. All of those are your input. And then at the middle hidden layer, it has multiple layers to refine and process and give you the output at the end of the day. Okay. But remember one thing, it is being trained with a lots of data. Okay. All these companies have trained with billions of data to these transformers so that they have trained very extensively, and then it is going to give you the final output. Okay, if it is not trained, then what it will happen, simple like us only. Let's say, you don't know what is generative AI. Like before coming to this session, if somebody asks you, explain me transformers, you will never be in a position to answer because you don't know what it is, right? You have never gone through it, or neither you have prepared. So what will you say? You will simply say that I'm not aware of it. Same your chat GPT or your copilot will do. If it is not trained with the data, it will say simply, hey, I'm not trained with this data. So either you make me learn, or otherwise I wouldn't be able to give you the answer. Same. That is the reason training data is very, very important. You have to train your ChatGPT, Copilot, or Gemini so that it will be able to go ahead and answer the results appropriately for you. So that's the clarity which every one of you should be aware so that it can give us the relevant output. So behind ChatGPT, behind Copilot, behind Gemini, you have an architecture called as transformers. Everyone use the same thing only. Nothing different it is because all of them use deep learning. They cannot escape that. So definitely everyone has to use the neural network. That's nothing but your transformers, where you have input layer, output layer, and multiple hidden layers. Now you may ask me how many hidden layers we need to have. That is up to the organization's budget, what they have. More the layers, more money they will invest. Less the layers, less money they are going to invest. So that's the clarity which every one of us should be aware about. And this is what we technically call it as LLM. LLM means large language models. Okay. All your large language models are nothing but it is your chat GPT. Okay. It's your Claude. Okay. Or it's your Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, or it's your Google Gemini. All of these are technically called as the large language models. Okay, because these large language models are very powerful artificial intelligence model. Why it is called powerful, because behind this you have a deep learning, which is nothing but your neural network. Okay, it has a neural network that is what we call technically as the transformers, where it will process the information into multiple layers and it's going to give you the structured output at the end of the day. And have you ever thought that why today generative AI is very popular? The generative AI is very, very popular among you, me, and the entire world is because it's giving you the capability to interact with your own normal language. Okay, that's what we call it as the natural language processing. Okay, so today why it is popular? It's only because of the natural language processing. Okay, I'll give you a very simple example. With this, you will understand it overall. Okay, let's say natural language processing means what it's like a plain English. Like, let me say, if I would have asked you, like, instead of asking a question, write a Python program or a C program and ask me a question. Okay, I know out of this, 90% of the people will go away saying that, no, I'm not interested to write the program, and then ask you a question. Right? Definitely, because not everybody is well familiarized with the programs, and you don't want to do that. Why I want to make my life difficult by writing a program and asking you a question? Is there no simplistic way? That was the thought process with all the data scientists. They thought that why can't we bring a model where human beings can interact with their own language? rather than asking them to create algorithms, rather than asking them to create big complex architectures. Why to do all these things when you already have a deep learning which is helping us out in the form of neural network transformers and all? Why can't we create one more layer on top of it, naming it as a generative AI, and then give the human beings their own way of interacting with it? That's when ChatGPT came into reality as a very first application in the year 2019 by OpenAI. Okay, so OpenAI is an organization where they said that, hey, everybody, this is the revolutionized thing which we are trying to bring it into reality. Now onwards, anybody who wants to ask any question to AI, just simply go and ask it in the plain English. It will give you all the response. Then you may think that is Google. Google was also doing the same thing. But the problem with Google is still you need to do research. If you ask a question, it will give you 10 to 20 links. You have to go through it, find out the content, and prepare it on your own. But today, you talk about generative AI, it uses natural language processing. That means you can you can ask the question in the human-like text pattern. It may be English, it may be Hindi, it may be Telugu, it may be any of your local languages, or it is a one common language which you can use English and can ask whatever you want. And accordingly, it will always go ahead and give you the response. Right? It's always going to go ahead and give you the relevant response, whatever is needed. So it's giving you the response in a language which you can understand. It is also allowing you to ask the question in a way how you want to go ahead and interact with. What else do we want? That is the reason today generative AI LLMs are very popular. It is all because of the natural language processing. Okay, so that is what we call here as the LLM. So today LLMs are very powerful because of the neural network, that is transformers. And today it is so popular because you can use the human-like text. You can ask in English, it will give you the response in English, and you're getting the better results out of it. It became very much interactive. It became very much communicative so that you can interact and can get the best responses out of it. Okay, they can answer questions, they can write essays, they can translate languages, they can generate the text in a way however you want it. What else do we need more than this? That is the reason LLMs are very, very popular at the end of the day today. Okay, so examples, as I said, you right, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, Claude, these are the different LLMs which are being present. Okay, so with this, I wrap up most of the theoretical part for all of you. Okay, so before I take you into the prompt engineering, so I'll try to take up any questions if you all have, right? I'll just go through the chat. I'll give you quick 2 minutes of time to ask me any questions or any topic which you want me to repeat. Feel free to put it over the chat so that any particular topic, if you missed out or you want a little bit clarity, let me know. I'll try to answer that. And at the same time, whatever questions you have asked till now, or if there is any questions pending from you, you can feel free to put it over the chat and I'll try to answer them in the next 2 minutes before I take you all to the prompt engineering concept. Okay, this is a high level overview. Whatever I provided, because without knowing this, right, there's no point in doing a lot of hands-on activity because this is the core essence of what everyone have to understand it. Okay. How AI is different from ML? No, it's all the same. Okay, AI is not different from the ML. That's what I have explained to you here, Krishnaveni. If you see, right, like if you see here, it's all part of the same ocean. Okay, if you talk about AI, it's nothing but your generative AI. If you talk about your AI, it's nothing but your machine learning. Okay, it's all same. They are not anything different over here. That's the clarity which we all need to understand it here. Okay, if the data size increases, then we will go with deep learning over ML. Yes, correct. Absolutely. So, I mean, data size, that is the reason I said you, right? We need a computation power cycle. Why we need computation power is because of the capability of to handle a large amount of data and then to process the information also in a very quick manner. Okay. Yeah, PPTs will be shared to the team and they will be able to provide it to you. Okay, the people who need PPT, so definitely you'll get it. So team will be able to provide it to you. Okay. Deep learning relate with neural network. Yeah, I just discussed, right, Sivarajan. Okay, so deep learning is relation is nothing. Deep learning itself is a neural network, which I explained to you right now here, right? Deep learning itself is actually a neural network where you will see all the information being processed very clearly over here. Okay. Okay, till here. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. If you have understood, that's really great. What is the difference between ML and DL? ML can also think, learn, and take decisions. See, ML can only be able to predict, right? ML is able to go ahead and predict and give you the patterns and the decisions. That is the capability of the machine learning. When you talk about the deep learning, right? Deep learning is able to analyze the information in your own natural language. Okay, so you ask any question in your natural language, like as I said you, right? In a plain language like English or any in your local language, it's giving you the response. Machine learning will not give the like response in natural language. Machine learning itself is like, if you want to interact with machine learning, it is all about algorithms. You need to know Python, you need to know R programming language. But whereas in the, let me say, when you talk about the deep learning, right, it's all about communicating in your own natural language and then trying to get the response out of it. That's the first thing. The difference between the ML and the DL. Okay. Now, why are we calling ChatGPT as AI models and not ML or DL models? Now you would have got it. It's a part of the DL model. It's a part. It's like I've explained right now, right? It's a subset of your deep learning only. So how it is not a part? And your deep learning is a subset of your machine learning. So they're all interconnected to each other. That is the reason ChatGPT is considered as, at the end of the day, not only ChatGPT, all of these LLMs which I discussed, right? They're all part of the models only. The ML, DL model is a part of the AI world. So your generative AI is a subset of your deep learning. Your deep learning is a subset of your machine learning. Your machine learning is a subset of your artificial intelligence here. This is a clear one. Okay. Now, how the data is analyzed by which means algorithms, programs in DL from layer to layer. It is all being done by algorithms. The game is all with the algorithms only. So for developing that algorithms, we need to know the R programming language. So we have the RAG algorithms, like where it will be able to go ahead and use the RAG algorithms, which are all advanced concepts, I would say. Okay, so those are the algorithms which are being utilized. Okay, perfect. So yeah, thank you all for the wonderful feedback. If you have understood, that's really great. Okay. So what is the role of natural language processing in generative AI? See, the role of natural language is to make the people like you and me easy to interact with. That's it. It doesn't have any other significance. Like for an example, let's say Sangeeta, I come here, I try to explain, apart from English, I try to explain in Hindi, let's say. Now, some of you get to know, some of you may not be able to understand it. Then what is the purpose of it? You're getting my point, right? So if you do the things in your own way, where majority of them are not understanding, then that's not the right approach which we are following, right? That's what till machine learning, deep learning, data scientists have thought. They thought that AI is not getting leveraged in a way how it should be. That is when they brought natural language processing. That means people can go and communicate in their own natural language, that it may be English or it may be a local language, and can get the better responses out of it. That's the essence of it, Sangeeta. Okay. LLM comes in NLP. Yeah, NLP, LLM, all are same only, Dr. Deepa. Okay, it's a part of the same thing, same world. NLP is nothing but it is just the human-like language. It's a part of your LLM only. That is the reason with whatever language, LLM means what? ChatGPT, Copilot, and Gemini. Those are your large language models. Now, whatever you're asking there, it's giving you the response, right? In a plain English language. That is your natural language. Okay. What is the difference between AI and generative AI? See, your AI can only be able to, this is your AI. Okay, your AI can only be able to predict, classify your data. It will be able to cluster your data. That means it will combine your data. It will use natural language processing, and you can be able to create the images. This is the purpose of the normal AI, conventional AI, which we call it as. Okay, whereas your generative AI, it has the capability to generate the new text, image, audio, video, and code. That is the difference. Your generative AI has the capability to generate the new text, image, audio, video, and source code. But whereas your conventional AI is great for predicting the data based on whatever data you have, it will predict the data. It will classify your data. Let's say you have 1,000 images of dogs and cats. Okay, your AI, conventional AI can classify how many cats are there, how many dogs are there. Okay, you can group them using clustering. You can group them, okay, by different features, whatever you want. You can use a natural language processing also in your conventional AI. Computer vision means you can be able to go ahead and create images, whatever you want. So that's your conventional AI, which we basically call it as. Okay, that's the difference between your conventional AI and then your generative AI. Okay, so how much ever questions I need to answer, I was able to go ahead and provide all of them. Okay, so rest of all of the things which are being present, right? We will be able to go ahead and try to discuss them in a detailed way. Okay, thank you. Yeah, exactly. So you all got to know, right? So that's the main important point which I just want to understand it. Remaining questions we'll take it up. Okay, so as I've taken or invested around 5 minutes of time for all your questions, later again when I get some time, I'll come back and we'll take up all the questions appropriately. Okay. Now let's now enter into the prompt engineering. Okay, which is the very important part, if I would say. Okay, you see that here we have the prompt engineering. So what is prompt engineering and what is its exact significance? So that's the clarity which every one of us should be aware about. Okay, see, prompt engineering means, if I say in a very simple way, it's all about the skill of, okay, it's the skill set which we will all be learning. Okay, prompt engineering is basically a skill set. So using this skill set, what we are going to do, we will be able to write a very clear and structured, okay, instructions, okay, or questions. That's it. This is what is a prompt engineering. Yes, it's very simple. What we are going to do is, for an example, if I start the session today, okay, now you all have liked it. Why? Because we were going with a pace with which you can sync with me, and then you all were able to understand whatever I was able to highlight, because you all able to understand, because I'm trying to, we both of us are trying to have the pace, or we are trying to understand in a way which is easier for us. Let's say if I would have rushed, or if I would have explained in my own way without bothering about what you're listening, or without bothering about what you're asking me, then things would have been gone in a different way. Same age also. Now, when you say prompt engineering, how well you can make your LLMs understand the large language models, your chat GPT, Copilot, or Gemini, right? How well you can communicate with them. Not like just because there are models like chat GPT, Google Gemini, and Copilot, just because they are there, it doesn't mean that you just go ahead and do whatever you want. Okay, you should be knowing, you should be very clearly knowing what exactly you are trying to communicate. That is prompt engineering. It's a skill set where you go ahead and very clearly, or very in a very structured manner, you should be able to ask your questions or instructions. Okay, your well structured prompt, okay, whatever the well structured prompt, okay, you have, right, it will be able to go ahead and give you the better response. If you have a well structured prompt, it will always be able to go ahead and give you the accurate and as well as in a detailed and a useful answer for you. That's it. The game is all with how well you're structuring the prompt. Accordingly, it will be able to go ahead and give you the accurate and detailed and the useful answer. If this is gone, if your prompt is not working in a way how it has to, then this will also fail. Simple. The way how you ask your question depends on your answer. So I know many of you would have used ChatGPT, okay, but sometimes you would have felt like, hey, why is it giving all this trash which is not needed for me? Because somewhere you have asked some very generic thing. It is also giving you very generic answer. So, but that shouldn't be the case, right? Today we have prompt engineering because it's a skill set which every one of us should be able to adopt. That is when we will be able to do great things with the help of the prompt engineering. So let's say if I say to Alexa, tell me about the weather today, it will go ahead and give me the weather. That is also prompt only. Okay, if I go and say to like Siri, okay, I'll be able to go ahead and say, hey, set me an alarm of so and so time. It will also be able to go ahead and do it. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is how well or how appropriately you go ahead and structure, accordingly, it will give you the response. Like for an example, I will say to my chat GPT, tell me about AI. Okay, just for an example, I said, tell me about AI. It will just go ahead and give me some random things, whatever is present in AI, because it's a very plain and generic term. Nowhere I'm specifying what I want. Only thing what I'm trying to say is tell me about AI. That's it. But let's say if I would say another prompt where I say, explain me the AI, okay, in terms with an example. Okay, so how much clear you are, accordingly, the response also will be that much nice. Example, like explain the AI in terms with an example related to, okay, I would say self-driving cars. Now, you know what it's going to do? It will first give me an understanding, okay, about AI. And on top of that, it will also give me an example which is related to self-driving car. So now what will happen with this, as I got to know my example, as I got to know what is that which the AI, which I want to know, where AI understood, okay, now I have to explain to the end user the AI and also need to give an example so that the end user, whatever they're expecting, right, they will be able to understand it in a better manner. How much clear you are with your prompt, accordingly, it is always going to give you the great response. If your prompt is weak, then your response is also going to be weak ultimately. If your prompt is great, then you are going to get the best response out of it, no matter whatever it may be. Okay, so that is the reason you see that here the definition of the prompt engineering. Here I made it very clear to all of you. Okay, so if you see in this case, it's a skill of crafting. That means writing a well-defined and as well as structured queries. Okay, you can always ask the structured questions or instructions so as to make sure that you get the best responses out of it. Okay, always your well-structured prompt only will give you the accurate result. Otherwise, you may not be able to get the accurate response, whatever you want. So that's the key thing which we all need to understand it. Okay, in a very clear way, you ask better questions. Okay, ultimately, what's going to happen is you ask better questions, you will be able to see the better AI responses. Okay, you ask better questions, you will always be able to get the better AI response. That's it. If your question is great, your response will be great. If your question is lame or generic, your response also is going to be very lame and generic. That's it. Okay, and then as I said you here, you have to make sure that everything is very clear in what you ask. It should be very specific and it should also be structured. As long as you are going to follow these things, as long as you're going to make sure that your prompt is clear, it's specific and structured, you can do great things over here. And then you can handle the things more proactively. Okay, so prompt is a natural language which you will use English and you'll ask in a better way so that you can be able to handle the things in a great manner. Okay, so this is the clarity which I just want to make sure that each and every one of you should be aware when we talk about the prompt engineering. So now what I'm going to do, I will take you to the hands-on activity. But before I take you to the hands-on activity, right, I will first explain to you how a ChatGPT tool may look like. I know most of you may already be aware of, but just I'm going to explain to you that how the ChatGPT tool would look like. And then there are different prompting techniques available for us. Okay, in the prompt engineering, just now we got a high level overview of how a prompt engineering would actually look like and its definition associated with it. Now, what I'm going to explain to you right now is there are different types of prompting techniques which are available for us. So we will deep dive into different prompting techniques which are present. I will get started one by one with all the prompting technique, and then I will run the prompts which are related to teaching sector, and then you will try to understand, after which I'll give you some 1 or 2 minutes of time where you can also be able to go ahead and handle the things appropriately. Okay, so that's the core thing which I just want to make sure that each and every one of you should be aware about. So let's go and try to make sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and then try to make sure. Okay, so let's just go to the chat GPT platform. Let me just share my screen. Okay, I think, yeah, I'll just try to make sure that we go to the chat GPT very quickly. Let's say, let me discard off this one. Let's go to our GenAI. Okay, the chat GPT. Okay, if you see here, this is your chat GPT. Okay, so if you want to go to your chat GPT, what you need to do, simply go to the browser and say here chat GPT. Okay, so I will just put URL also for all of you so that you can utilize it. Okay, chatgpt.com. Okay, let's just put it for everyone in the chat. Okay, so I've just given to you. Okay, how prompt engineering is helpful? Now we'll get to know how it is helpful, because you need to know how to interact with the chat GPT. Many people problem is, okay, everybody knows how to interact with all these LLMs, all these tools, but the biggest problem is they don't know how to interact with it. They don't know how to utilize it full effectively. Okay, it's not just meant for essays. Okay, it's just not meant for essays. It's not just meant for like small things. It's meant for great things. You can create your end. You can create PPTs. You can create quiz. You can do a lot lot of activities here. Then why are we not leveraging for that? Just using for summarizing, writing essays, writing mails. That is also a good thing only, but it's not meant for only that. For that, you need prompt engineering skill set. If you don't know how the prompt engineering works, then you may not get the entire benefits of what ChatGPT is today providing to us. That is the reason prompt engineering is considered to be very important. And every one of us should be well acquainted with that skill set so that we all can use it more proactively over here. Okay, so now this is your chat GPT. I've already shared the URL in the chat where you can go to chatgpt.com. The moment you enter into the chatgpt.com, right, it will ask you to log in. You can log in through your Gmail account. You don't need to create a new account if you are already having Gmail, right? With the Gmail account also, you can be able to log in yourself to ChatGPT platform. Okay, the moment you log in to the ChatGPT platform, right? So you will be seeing the URL in a, I mean, the user interface in a way how you're able to see on my screen. Okay, your UI is going to be present in this way. Okay. So once your UI is visible like this, first thing what you all have to know here is there are models available here. In the chat GPT itself, you have different models which are being present in this case. Okay, you see that here we have the GPT 4.0, which is the Omni model, GPT 4.5. So these are all paid versions. Okay, if you have subscription, chat GPT at the end of the day is a tool. It's a subscription based tool where I think for a month you have to pay approximately $23, okay, per month. If anybody is interested for the advanced versions, I mean, the only advantage with the advanced versions is the responses will be very accurate, up to 90 to 95% they give you accuracy. And the second thing is, after the accuracy, right, you will also be able to see that it can create images even in the advanced version. It can analyze your images, it can analyze your documents also in a great manner. That's the only advantage. The people who want to stick with the free version also can go ahead with it. That's not a problem. And I'm not asking anybody to go with the subscription based until and unless you feel that it is really required. Okay, but for our sessions, we don't need any paid version or any subscription based. I already have the subscription, but that's fine. But I don't request any one of you to go to any subscription based model until you feel more confident, until you feel it is more effective. That's it. Okay. So these are all are the like models which are present in Chat GPT as of today. Okay, GPT 4.0 Omni model. Okay, you have more models like GPT 4. I think for free version, it is GPT 4, the legacy model. The free version is what we use it. Okay. And then towards the right hand side, right, you have your profile over here where you can click on your profile and you can go to the settings. In the settings, right, you can always change your theme. If you want a dark background, you can go with the dark. And the one, if you are not familiar with the dark background, you can always go with the system background, which is lighter in color. Okay, up to you, like how you want to play around with the theme and all. And then whenever you want to log out, you don't want to continue in the chat GPT, go to settings. In the general, you have the logout option where you can log out. And then you see that towards the left hand side, right, you have a set of chat present here. Okay, this is all whatever you communicated till today, right? Everything will be present over here. All your chat will be stored in the form of history. So that whenever you want to go back, you can always see that your chat, whatever you communicated, will be stored in the left hand side. Okay, and this is the platform where you can ask your question. Now, correlate what we learned theoretically. What happens here? Your chat GPT at the back end has what? Everybody, can you be able to go ahead and guess and tell me no? What is that the chat GPT is going to have at the back end? We all learned, right? In the deep learning, what is that which will be available behind the hood? Like when you talk about chat GPT, which is not visible to you, what is that name which we call it as? Yes. Okay. What is it? Yes, I'm giving time, everybody. Keep going. Great. I see already 3 answers coming up. Absolutely. Great job, everyone. Yes, it is neural network, which we basically call it as transformers. I'm very happy that you all have understood it. Okay. So because everybody of you have given absolutely right answer. Okay. So you see that there is a neural network which is sitting behind the hood. Because of the neural network only, that is nothing but your transformers, your things are going to work. So now what I'm going to do here is like just take the example of what we discussed. So like let's say I would just simply say, okay, tell me about AI. Well, let's see what it is going to do. Okay, I'll just quickly say, tell me about AI. Let's see what response it's going to give me. It's just going and saying me that, hey, AI is a simulation of human intelligence. It's present in machines. Okay. And then it's explaining me the types of AI, narrow AI, general AI, super AI, the key AI technologies, machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, all these things we already have covered. Okay. It's giving me all the data, right? See, the problem is this is what we call generic prompt. You don't know what you want here. You just simply went and said, tell me about AI. Now, when you say, tell me about AI, you are giving that discretion or you are giving that power to your AI model where it is going and doing everything on its own. You should control everything. That is prompt engineering. Prompt engineering means you should control the things on your own and then try to give little bit to your chat GPT. But here what is happening, most of the times you may think that, hey, I'm getting great answers, I'm very happy with what chat GPT is doing, but somewhere if you very closely observe, you are giving the entire authority to the chat GPT. Now you have to control something. So let me say, now I'll say, tell me about AI in a simple way under 100 words. I'm putting a lot of limitations now. I want AI in a simple way under 100 words with a great example. Very simple one. Okay, very simplistic one. So I say, tell me about the AI in a simple way because I can understand it. And that too, I don't want a very detailed answer like how you were able to provide it here. Right? Just under 100 words I want, and that too with a great example. Now you restricted it. Let's see what my ChatGPT or LLM is going to do. See, it's like teaching computers to think and learn like humans. It will help my machine solve the problems, recognize the speech, and even make decisions. Great example is the Google Maps, where it uses AI to analyze the traffic, suggest that you know that, right? The red color, yellow color indication which it gives you. It lets you know the fastest routes and predicts the delay in the real time. Another example is Netflix recommendations. Okay, now you see that, right? See, you see the previous prompt and you see the new prompt. See the amount of response which you have seen here. Now, this is not a wrong answer. I'm not saying that it is giving you wrong answer. It is giving you absolutely right answer. But the problem here is when you see in this case, the response which it is being able to give you is very, very lengthy, very generic. But when you want something specific, be very clear in what you're asking. So tell me about AI in a simple way, under 100 words with a great example. So it stick to that. See, it's a very simple answer where it touched everything, whatever I asked, and it was able to give me the output. That is the beauty of the prompt engineering. You should have the control with what you are asking so that your chat GPT will behave as per what you are asking. You should not give the control to chat GPT so that then what chat GPT will do is with lots of data, whatever it has been trained with, it will take you into the ocean and it will dump you there. Now you don't know what is right, which one I have to take from here. Actually, I don't need this much content. How can I be able to pick this? Because you left the control to GPT and GPT has taken everything on it on its own. So you should not do that. For that only, you all need to know how to analyze or how to utilize the prompt engineering so that you can handle it in a more proactive manner. So this is the clarity which I just want to make sure that every one of you should be aware about. Okay, hope that this makes sense to all of you. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make you understand that how this prompt engineering techniques are available. There are multiple techniques which we are going to discuss as part of today and tomorrow. So today I will get started with at least one prompting technique. Okay, so I'm going to put it up over here for all of you. Now what we are learning is the prompting techniques. Okay, so currently we are learning about the prompting techniques. We already have seen prompt engineering. We already have seen one LLM chat GPT. I've shown you how a generic prompt and a better prompt will look like. So as part of that, the very first prompting technique which we will learn today is iterative. Okay. It's called as the iterative refinement prompting, we call it as. Okay. So the prompting technique, the very first prompting technique which we are going to learn from here is it's an iterative refinement prompting technique is what we call it up over here. So what is iterative prompting or iterative refinement prompting technique here? It indicates, okay, what it is trying to say here is this is like, again, ultimately your chat GPT only will generate the response. But here we will refine it until we get the right answers. Okay, you'll keep refining until you get the right answers. Like best example is I have explained to you, let us say deep learning. Okay, now some of you understood, some of you didn't understand. Let's assume it. Okay, now some of you have asked me question. Why did you ask me question? Because you want to make it more clear. So I explained you the concept, you understood from there, and from there you picked up some questions and you're asking me. That means what you're trying to do, you're refining it. Now you asked me a question, how neural network is connected to deep learning. I answered it. After I answered it, then you got to know one more point from there, and you're asking me how many layers are present in the neural network. Then again, I say you 3 layers. Then again, you'll ask me, is there any limit for that? Then again, I'll give you response. So what it is becoming? It is like continuously we are trying to refine. Ultimately, you get the best answer out of it. You're getting my point, right? That is iterative refinement. Iterative refinement in prompt engineering says you can be able to go ahead and ask me as many questions as you want as a chat GPT model. I'm always there to answer you. You can keep refining whatever you want. I will be able to go ahead and answer it for you. Like for an example, let's go to chat GPT and try to understand it practically. Okay, I'll open a new chat. Here, there is always an option to open a new chat. Okay, there is always an option here as a new chat towards the left hand side. Okay, so let me click on this new chat. So now in the new chat, what I'm going to say here is, let's say for an example, I'll take one topic which is related to explain recursion. Okay, let's say we'll say explain recursion. Okay, what it is going to do, let's see. Okay, I'll just quickly go ahead, say explain me the recursion. So let's see what it is going to do. See, it's just gonna go ahead and give me some examples. Okay, recursion. It's just trying to go and try to explain whatever it knows. It's a very generic term. Okay, very generic prompt I have provided where it will go and give me the textbook definition or whatever it has been trained with. Okay, it's explaining me the recursion concept. Okay, say factorial calculation. It's giving everything which I want it or don't want it. It doesn't know. It doesn't know anything. It's just going and giving me whatever it is knowing about, because I asked very generically explain recursion. But now I'm not happy with the response. Okay, I am really not happy with the response which it has given to me. So what I would say, now I will refine it. That is iterative refinement. Iterative means you'll keep continuing here only. So now what I will do, I will say explain me the recursion. Okay, what I would say, okay, using a, it's better, like I would say using a real world, okay, analogy. Analogy means to compare it. Compare and give me the real world example, and also give a Python example. Okay, and please go ahead and give me a Python code example also. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to refine it right now. If you observe over here, what I'm trying to do in this case is I am trying to refine it in a much better manner. So I'm saying explain me the recursion. Okay, now not just explain recursion. I'm saying explain me recursion using a real world analogy and also give me a Python code example for the same. Okay, now let's go run this. This is a second layer, like iteration 2. Iteration means repeating the same prompt in a much refined manner. Okay, now it says, see, think of recursion like a set of mirrors facing each other in the barber shop. When you look into one mirror, you see reflections of yourself repeating infinitely. However, the reflection gets smaller and smaller until they are no longer visible. This stopping point is like the base case in recursion. Another analogy is climbing down a ladder. You take one step down at a time, you continue this process until you reach the ground. Once on the ground, you stop. This is your base case. So see how well it is trying to correlate and give you an analogy, so that I'm talking about recursion right now. Now you take any topic in your respective domain and you can be able to highlight it and you can refine it. You can iteratively refine it in such a way that it is going to give you the better responses. Okay, and then see Python example also, it's giving you the Fibonacci sequence where it is giving you one example and it is also explaining to you that how this Python code is also working. That's the beauty of the prompt. When you put it in a very structured way, you will see a better responses being coming out of it. If not, you will be able to see something like a very generic in the previous case when I ran the very first prompt. Now I have iteratively refined this here. And then I said that, hey, I need a real world analogy and also give me a Python code example. So it was able to go ahead and give me the output here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is, okay, I'll just, again, I want to further refine it. Let's say, so I'll say, okay, that's good. Okay, I'm going to appreciate the chat GPT saying that that's really good. But again, make it much beginner friendly. Okay. Make sure that this is, okay, beginner friendly with a step by step. Okay, I want it in a step by step manner. Okay, you can say with a step-by-step explanation and again add comments in the Python code. See, I'm trying to further enhance it. That's it. Okay. So I'm just trying to say over here, okay, what is happening in this scenario, that I'm just appreciating the previous answer. That's good. But again, whatever you have given me, right, just make it beginner friendly. That means anyone who is going to learn this for the first time, they should understand it. That too with a step-by-step explanation, and add the comments in the Python code. So that even in the Python code, when there are comments, right, people can understand what step is what. So I want to further refine it. Let's go and try to execute this and let's see. Okay, see now it's explaining us. So recursion, now it is explained in such a way where even the beginners can understand it in a step-by-step pattern. Okay, see, I started with just simply saying, explain me the recursion. And then again, I moved little bit further and enhanced my prompt saying that, hey, explain the recursion using the real world analogy and also give me a Python code example. It gave me the real world analogy and then it gave me the example also. See, it's nowhere going beyond than what I asked. That's how you have to control your LLMs. Okay. Now, then again, I say here, it's all great, but just make it beginner friendly who is learning for the first time with a step-by-step explanation and add the comments. Let's see. First of all, it made it beginner friendly by giving the definition. Then it gave us the real world analogy also. Okay. Then it took the Python example and see here, it added the comments. You see that here, you see in this case, all the comments are being added and it is trying to put it everything in a very clear way. And see here, the step-by-step explanation, it is explaining what is happening with the Python code. And then it is giving you the output and as well as the final result and letting you know why you need to use the recursion. Okay, so and then see important concepts which are needed in the recursion. That's a base case, recursive case, stack memory. And what are the common disadvantages in the recursion? Okay, it's asking, would you need more examples? If you want, you can go ahead with it. If you believe that this is absolutely fine, you're done with it. So you can make some of the concepts much easier by just running these iterative prompts. By running these iterative prompts continuously. Iterative means continuously you have to keep refining your prompts in a more structured manner so that at the end of the day, you get the best response out of it. Okay, so that's the clarity which you all need to understand it at the overall perspective. Okay, so this is what we ideally call it as the iterative prompting. Okay, so where you start with a very generic prompt, you further go ahead and try to refine that prompt in a better manner, and then you further refine until you believe or until you feel satisfied that whatever answer you got is the best answer. That is your iterative prompting technique, which I have explained to you. Okay, so iterative prompting or iterative refinement prompting, whatever you want to call it as, the end goal of this is you have to keep refining until you believe you got the right answer. That's it. So I was not happy with just explain recursion. Okay, so I was again going and trying to refine further so that I can always be able to get the best response out of it. So tomorrow, what I'm going to explain to you here is with the same iterative only. What I'm going to do here is I'll take the example of the assignments. Like let us say you want to prepare a syllabus as a faculty. You want to prepare a syllabus. How can I prepare the syllabus with the iterative refinement? Okay, with iterative refinement prompting technique, how can I be able to go ahead and then try to create the syllabus on my own? Okay, so that I can be able to go ahead and can handle the things in a more proactive manner. Okay, that's one thing which we are going to learn tomorrow, along with other prompting techniques like zero shot, one shot, few shot, right? And then we also have other prompting techniques like self-consistency prompting technique, contrastive prompting technique. You'll really see some great things. And tomorrow I would request every one of you to also please come with your laptops or join with your laptops, right? Because you can also be able to do along with me. It's going to be really interesting. And I would also request you that when I'm going to share these prompts also. Okay, so whatever I worked today, right? At least let me share these prompts over the chat. Maybe you can have it handy so that whenever you want to practice at least the iterative prompting, which we discussed, right? It will be helpful for all of you. Okay, and what else I explained about here? Yeah, so this is another one. I'm just putting it over the chat so that it can be useful for all of you. And then the third iterative prompt which we used here is this. Okay, I just have shared it over the chat to all of you. So maybe you can utilize it. Okay, I just shared the entire part so that you all can be able to go ahead and utilize it. Okay. So with this, I end the session today as we are on time. So we will still continue our beautiful journey tomorrow also with the remaining prompting techniques, and you would also be able to go ahead and practice. Meanwhile, I'll just try to give an assignment to you today is try to find out what are the different prompting techniques which are being available from your end. Definitely, I'll explain that tomorrow, but just if you are curious, if you want to just do the things on your own, I would request that go ahead and try to see what are the different prompting techniques which are available from your perspective. Tomorrow, we will learn all the different prompting techniques along with the hands-on activity and as well as the agenda which has been scheduled. Okay. So we'll take the journey and we will move further. And I hope that you all have thoroughly enjoyed whatever we discussed today. We covered a wide variety of topics today with the generative AI, machine learning, deep learning, understanding where the Gen AI is going to fit in all this AI world. And we understood what is artificial intelligence, right? We understood what's a neural network, LLMs, the large language models architecture. Then we entered into the chat GPT. We understood what is prompt engineering, what is the definition of it, why prompt engineering is important. And we entered into the prompt engineering techniques. In that technique, today we first completed the iterative refinement prompting technique, where we already have seen some prompts with associated with it. And then tomorrow we will continue with the iterative only, where I'll just explain to you how you can create a syllabus on your own by running the iterative prompts, and then the remaining prompting techniques and as well as the agenda which is being set up for tomorrow. Yeah, with this, I wrap up the session for today. Thank you once again, everyone, for your active participation, listening very thoroughly, asking questions, and then trying to answer for whatever questions I have asked. We'll take this journey further for tomorrow also. Until then, I would say bye-bye and take care, everyone. I'll just hand it over to the host so that they can just see if there is any information which they can cascade it to all of you. So great job, everyone. Keep learning like this. And I'm very happy that you all have liked it and great feedback. So I'll continue the same so that you all can be able to learn in a better and in an effective manner. This is really something which is really having a great demand in the market. How well you know, that much effective you're going to be in your work. Okay. So yeah, thank you. Thanks everyone for your time, and thanks to all the participants also. If there are any questions, right, I'll be again taking it up tomorrow. Okay. And I'll be able to answer it in a better manner. Okay. So thank you. Bye-bye and take care, everyone. And over to, I see Anuradha here.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
over to you.
Thank you, Prashant. Thank you so much. Looks like all the faculty have enjoyed the session. Thank you so much for delivering such a great session. So, a lot of faculty are asking about the recording. The recording and the links for the recording will be shared to you in the WhatsApp group. Thank you so much once again, and have a good evening. And we will see you tomorrow once again. Thanks. Bye bye.